Okay, Gemini, the question we have for you. Will you ever stop searching for a new adventure?
Oh my God, no. And
No,
why
and why
should
would they?
Curiosity didn't kill the cat. It made the cat stronger.
Right, it made it smarter.
It made it funner. What's good, you guys?
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturn Day.
Saturn Day. Yes. Do you guys have any fun plans for the weekend? So I wanted to start this episode off. You know, it's Pisces season. Happy Pisces season to all of our Pisceans. Okay, happy birthday.
Dreams have been crazy.
Yes.
As per usual.
Coming in heavy.
Literally, fever dreams all season long.
Really?
Like how?
Literally.
Dreams already are weird, but Pisces season dreams are just like out of this world, extraordinary.
Right.
One
Next
might say.
level
Literally.
stuff.
Like I'm like, oh my, how did these universes collide with one another?
Right. It's like the Matrix up in there.
No, literally.
Or Inception.
Seriously. And it's crazy because I feel like for regular people, even though we be sleeping a lot during Pisces season, it's not like restful sleep. It's like insane sleep.
Like I'm running in my sleep. You
Yeah.
know? Like working stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Fantasy land.
right. It's a little tiring, but it's fine. But I wanted to ask you, what was one tip that you had for people during this Pisces season?
Yeah, honestly, I would say rest. Rest is one of the more important things during Pisces season because, you know, Pisces season is all about your imagination running wild and your creativity. And I feel like when you're tired, you're not really able to tap into that part of you.
Yeah.
And another reason why Pisces is associated with dreams is because they're ruled by the 12th house. And the 12th house in astrology is all about your subconscious. And I feel like in order to make the best of Pisces energy, you need to get restful sleep. And then also try and remember your dreams because that's your subconscious trying to talk to you, trying to give you messages, themes, whatever it may be. Like it's not for no reason. And I think it's really hard because we live in a world that kind of tells you that your imagination and those dreamlike states, your spirituality, it's not real, you know? That's like, you know, the Western world is all about like, that's not real. Mm-hmm. And I want you guys to really tap into your spirituality and understand that when you do use it, you can actually live a better, more fulfilled life. Yeah. And just because we grew up in the kind of world that told us those things are not real doesn't make it so. It's just the message that we were taught. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, you know, they say that for a reason because they don't want us to be in touch with our spirituality because they know that that's what makes us strong. So this Pisces season, get rest, tap into your spirituality, and really think about your dreams and write them down, see what they mean, and see if you can find a theme.
Yes. Yeah. No, I absolutely love this. I feel like as you were speaking, it kind of made me think, and it makes me angry that everyone feels this way about Pisces, like how they're crybabies and how maybe they sleep too much. But it's like they're actually processing their emotions and taking time to reflect. So I really hate when people kind of like rag on them or say like that's such a negative thing. I actually think it's really beautiful. Like more of us need to feel our feelings and just sit in them for a while, you know, and then release them because that's what Pisceans do. They feel their feelings and they release them. They give themselves the time and space to reflect. And that's what I want everyone to do this Pisces season as well. I want you to reflect and think about what you really craved growing up, you know? And like, once you find that, I want you to go wholeheartedly and do it. Like, give it all of your attention, right? Like, maybe you felt growing up, you didn't receive the attention that you wanted or like the love that you wanted. And I want you to take it further than like, do self-care this year. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to really think about that little child within you and give them a hug and be supportive and empathetic to their feelings, you know, because so much of us I feel like does kind of surface level things, but I want you to go deeper and think about that child who was crying out and be that friend for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like inner child work is so hard, but so fulfilling. A lot of people are so scared to even think about what their inner child went through because when you tap into that, you might get memories that you so desperately were trying to forget.
Yeah.
And it's not easy work. Like, this isn't going to be like, sit in your room and think about your inner child. Like, that shit is hard.
Yeah.
And once you decide that that's something that you want to do for yourself, it's a journey. And it's not a pretty journey. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no parent was perfect and no environment growing up was perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone has things that they went through. You know, everyone has their own set of trauma. And when you do decide to tap into your inner child and the healing that child needs, I think it's a way for you to get your power back. And I feel like sometimes for water signs, a lot of our power was given away when we were young because we were emotional, because we cried a lot, or whatever it may be, because our feelings got hurt so often. Like, I can think of so many times in my childhood and in my teenage years where I don't know what the fuck happened, but I was crying in front of like my whole family or my whole extended family at a wedding. Someone said something to me that hurt my feelings, and now everyone upstairs crying. And like, it's something that I honestly felt like was my biggest weakness until I realized, no, that's my biggest strength, you know? But unless I tapped into my inner child and understood her, I didn't realize how much those moments took my power away, you know? But at the end of the day, when you think about those times, you can't help but feel embarrassed, you know? But that's not you. That's your inner child feeling that way. And you need to nurture that inner child and tell it it's okay, and that, like, your inner child, all it really needs is you and your validation. So if you choose to have that conversation with your inner child, you have no idea how powerful and healing that is, because most of the time we just need that validation from ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, but when you feel ashamed by that inner child and ashamed by the things that hurt his or her feelings, you're not going to validate that part of you, because you're doing to it what adults did to you. And you're doubling down on hurting your own feelings.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like this is, to me, one of the best times to do this reflection, this deep inner child work, because you do, like, the energy asks you to rest more, you know? And when you deal with hard stuff like this, I feel like, it is easy to rest and process. And like, sometimes it may still feel a little tired because you'll continue to process in your dreams, but at least you're like working it out, and at least you're like laying there, you know? And I feel like that helps a lot too, you know, because it's not easy when all of this information is rushing at you and there's heck of people. Like, this is something that you should do in your own time when you feel comfortable and safe in a space.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like there isn't that much work done, or to my knowledge, there isn't that many studies done that show when you are evolving spiritually exactly what it's doing to your body physically. You know what I mean? Like, we all know that when you start going through your spiritual awakenings, however many you have, those are some of the most tiring times of your life.
100%.
Or when you finally feel safe and you're not running on survivor mode. You feel so tired and you're like, why am I so lazy? It's like, no, honey, you are finally in a place
mode
where you feel safe and you are able to rest without thinking someone's out to get you, and everything you have that makes you feel safe is about to be taken away from you. All those things matter, you know? So I feel like that's why it's so important, during Pisces season to rest, because you are probably processing a lot of things spiritually. And I think for our physical bodies, it takes a lot out of us when we're doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and Pisces is such a spiritual sign. That's why they're resting. They're tapping into that spiritual side of themselves and their subconscious. So, of course, they need to keep sleeping because their physical body, it's not really processing what their spiritual body is doing, because their spiritual body is on 10.
Yeah.
And their physical body is trying to catch up. And, you know, we all have a spiritual side to us, but I'm speaking about Pisces energy because, you know, they're ruled by the 12th house of your subconscious. So I really feel like we all need to be, it's not a hot take. We say this so many times. Rest. Pisces season, rest.
Yes.
It's so important to get that rest in, and don't judge yourself.
Seriously.
And, you know, Pisces gets that bad rep because they still need to find that balance. You know, sometimes they do be sleeping too much.
Right.
And you know
They're
what I mean?
like ignoring, you know, we don't want to ignore.
And you never want to ignore. You want to find that balance.
Yeah.
And some chapters of your life, you need one more than the other. Maybe you need to be sleeping more.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to be hustling because, like, you're on your grind and you're feeling motivated, you know?
Right.
So it's just all about that balance.
Yeah.
And it's never going to stay in one pace.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. And I feel like since it's the last sign of the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, it is the time to reflect, think before it goes into the new year. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like how everyone talks about, oh, New Year's in January. Like, no, the new year is happening like now. Or, you know, like the year is ending now,
Yeah.
basically. So what are you going to do with that? Come to a collective, summarize what you thought of your year, you know, and what you want to
Yeah.
do next year for or, you know, how you're going to start Aries season. Or,
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Spiritually.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I want to talk about some fucking stupid celeb drama, which is so annoying. I don't know if you've been seeing Selena's TikTok. Everyone's talking about it. And she made a TikTok and she put the Bella Hadid filter on her face. She's like, I wish I was as pretty as Bella Hadid. And it was just like a little weird, I guess, because they both dated the same guy. And she was like the other, I don't know. It was like a whole thing. And like, I don't really care about all that stuff. What I do care about is like, I've been seeing how many people are coming for her and the way she looks right now. And I want people to just shut the fuck up, really.
Seriously.
And most importantly, I just want to talk about stans. Like, I think people who like stan these big name artists are so fucking annoying. I'm all for people like having celebs that they look up to, but the way some of these fans like go under people's pictures, like someone that they assume their fave is like beefing with, and they start like sending death threats and saying the most disgusting, vile shit and making assumptions. Like they assume that like Kylie and her were like beefing, and then Kylie was like, that's not what I meant. And Selena commented under her and said, no, I love Kylie. Like, it's not real. Like, what do you... And people are still, like, stitching the videos and just making drama. And this isn't, like, anything new. People are going to do that because they love drama.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's so exhausting to watch it as someone who is just watching. I can't even imagine what it's like being someone who's that famous and people are just, like, putting words in your mouth, creating all these narratives about you. And what I really also want to talk about is that Selena took a big hiatus from social media. Yeah. And she just came back, like, I want to say a month or 2 months ago. And people are already just, like, saying disgusting shit about her, starting drama for no reason. Granted, I'm not saying she's innocent. Like, you know, she's making videos, too, where she's being a little funny or sassy or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, this is why people get off social media.
Right.
And, like, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because people can't even express themselves without everyone ruining it.
Right.
Let people be.
Right.
It's not that serious.
Right. It really isn't. And I feel like y'all are on the verge of maybe driving her back off of social media.
Oh, no, I think she's taking another break.
And I feel like that's so
dumb.
Fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, celebrities, they should be able to live their life how they want to. You know what I mean? Like, it is a privilege to us that they are sharing these things with us.
Right.
You know? And I just feel like it is like all of these lower level demons.
The 13-year-olds?
Yes.
Because they're like 14, 15, 20.
Well, it's like...
They are lower level demons.
They are. Because, I mean, honestly, I would even call myself a lower level demon when I was that age.
They're being easily influenced.
Exactly. And how our brains
all over the place.
Exactly get so obsessed.
But then I'm like, you know, it's not just them. You see these 40-year-olds under like the shade room or
For
like
sure.
or like other shit, you know, and they're just like going in on people and like just like these are just miserable people no matter what.
Yeah.
Or they just love someone so hard they feel like they're like helping them by like fighting their battles and saying disgusting shit to whoever they think they're beefing with. But it's so odd to me because I'm like what do you do? Like what do you do on the daily? Because it seems like that's all they do.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they just literally hop online and they're just, like, going back and forth. I'm like, how is that not exhausting?
Seriously.
Like, do you go to school? Do you have a job? Do you have a hobby? I have so many questions.
For real. I feel like also as a celebrity, like, if I see one of my fans acting like that, calling out, you know, let's say it is like Bella Hadid and saying how terrible she is and giving her death threats, I don't like you now.
Yeah.
You know, as one of my fans. Like, why would you think that I would want you acting in that way?
Right.
You are also a reflection of me.
But there's millions of them. So it's not like they're going to be like, you. Like, it's like, damn near,
for sure.
like, probably 80% of their fucking fan base, like, their diehard fan base is, like, these people that are, like, going crazy.
Yeah.
You know, even with the Nicki fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so many. There's toxic fans and every celebrity has toxic fans. It's just crazy to me how much hate. And maybe, again, I feel like I just assume that everyone can be kind and like let shit go and laugh and take it easy. You know what I mean? And like most people can't. Like there's just so much seriousness in this world. There's certain things that we need to take seriously that people don't take seriously.
Yeah.
And there's so much shit that shouldn't be taken seriously that everyone takes seriously.
Right.
And it just bugs me. And I just had to rant about it. Because what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's weird. There are better things that you can be doing with your time. Like, I'm sure you're not doing well at your job, or you know what I mean, or in school, or these other things. You don't have great, healthy relationships.
Focusing on the wrong things.
Exactly. Like, you're putting way too much time and energy into this.
Yeah.
And, like, I get sometimes, people want to just, like, blow off steam and talk about silly things, but, like, when you bring the negativity with it, it's like, stop. You are bringing the whole vibration down.
But it's concerning to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it actually concerns me.
I think it's weird.
I'm like, I hop on fucking TikTok. I saw that video of her posting that video, by the way. Before it blew up, I saw her, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, I wonder why she did that. And I was like, the past 4 days, it's everywhere. That video's everywhere. There's like 10 other dramas that started from it, and I'm just like... Why can't everyone just look at it and be like, that's funny, and then just move on? Like, why do we need to, like, it's everywhere.
Harp on
and it's because, she is at that level, So is Bella and Kylie and Justin Bieber's girlfriend, whatever her name is. Wife?
Yeah.
Hailey Bieber. No shade towards her, I just forget her name.
Yeah.
I feel like all these people are obviously, like, big name celebs, So, like, it's to another level, but it still happens with smaller influencers or artists. Like, people are just crazy.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
I don't live for the gossip myself, so I don't understand people who...
The only gossip I like is watching Love Island and The Housewives.
Right.
And talking shit with my bestie or going on Twitter and just tweeting a little something sassy. I'm not under their fucking Instagram post. You know what you did.
Talking about you.
Like, I don't know you. I'm reacting to what I saw.
That's the other thing. You all don't know any of these people. So how hard you're riding for them is, like, absolutely insane to me. Y'all don't ride like that for nobody else. But honestly, somebody you never met, you're sending death threats and doing the most for. Like,
they should write screenplays and books. The way they create these fantasies, the way they create these stories, it's a talent. It's a talent.
It is.
You are running based off of assumption only.
Yes.
And you're creating all these insane fantasies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Pisces season, so they're doing the damn thing.
Right.
They're writing the story. They're writing the fantasy. But it's crazy. Find a hobby.
Yeah. Agreed. That's not another celebrity.
It's wild. It's wild.
Or a person in general.
Right.
People should not be your hobbies.
No.
I feel like let's just put that out there.
They really shouldn't. They really shouldn't.
Lord. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I saw online this very silly thing from Panera. Mm-hmm. So they made a purse. And it's called,
I saw it.
The Baguette.
Yep.
And it was actually pretty cute. It was like this green bag, and apparently it's supposed to like hold a sandwich, but it's sold out, which I thought was very funny.
People drive me insane. Actually, the first time I saw it was Paige from Summer House. She had a brand deal with Panera, and she was wearing the bag, my fashion Scorpio queen.
Yes.
And I thought that was so funny. And I'm like, I don't know, Panera. I feel like people might put $5 footlong in there.
Uh-oh.
Did you think about that?
Right. Does Panera have their own size sandwich?
They might, but Subway might make a little, you know what I mean? You know how these companies like to go against each other. But that's so funny. Yeah. It reminds me of those stupid red boots that I've been seeing.
They're the
ugliest fucking things I've ever seen
those
in my
big
whole
cartoon boots?
Fucking life.
Yes.
And it goes to show just how easily the public is influenced, dude. Something can be butt ugly, but if the world wants to make it happen, suddenly it's sold out.
Yeah.
And somebody has to do some sort of like fucking, I mean, it's basic economics, I guess. When supply is low, demand is high, you know? So like when it's something sold out, I feel like people are like, oh, it's sold out. Like, oh my God.
I need it.
Yeah.
It like does something to our brain.
And I hate that.
Right. And then I feel like they do a really good job too of making all the celebs like push out them wearing it all at the same time, so it's all over our feed, and you think like, oh, snap, is that the new thing? I need it.
I mean, yeah, everything I learned in all my marketing classes was literally about that, about our self-image. Everything that has to do with marketing, it's all about your self-image. Like, oh, I see everyone has that. If I have that, I will be viewed as that, as cool,
Yeah.
as hip, as wealthy. So now I need that. And you almost tell yourself this lie of, if I have that thing, everyone will view me as such, whatever that thing is. And it's crazy, because when you buy that thing, you're done. So you're not, you just having that one bag is gonna make you the coolest person ever, and now you're fulfilled for the rest of your life? Like, no.
No,
like,
because there's always gonna be
every other
another
day,
bag.
there's gonna be something else.
Right.
You know?
Always something
and it's
that you
all
need to
just
get.
a lie. So buy something that you actually feel a connection to. You see that thing, you're like, oh, it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of that bag my mom used to have. Or, oh, I love that color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, buy things that you feel like you would love, not because other people would view you as something for having that.
For sure. And
Those are the things that are timeless.
Yeah, 100%. And buy something that you feel you would like in a year. I feel like a lot of us in this capitalistic, fast fashion world, we buy things, and then when it's not the trend anymore, we're done with it. And it's like you said, you should be finding classic pieces that, maybe cost a little bit more, but are going to last you, and you're going to love it in a year, 2 years from now.
Absolutely. Like, honestly, some of the best advice my sister gave me, and I have 3 sisters, and I consider all of them pretty fashionable, but one of my sisters, she's a little more bougie. And I remember, when I was in my early 20s, and I was making money, working 2 jobs, I was like, oh, I got money. And I would just be buying shit, just low quality, cheap shit. Because I want to go shopping and buy 10 different things. And my sister told me, she's like, always quality over quantity. Just because you can get 10 of these because they're cheaper doesn't mean those things are going to last you. So find something you love and invest in it, so the quality remains good, for a long time. And I was like, but why? More is better. But then when I, got in my early or mid 20s and late 20s, I'm like, oh, I so get that. I so get that. It just looks nicer. It feels nicer.
Yeah.
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 It's all about that investment.
100%. And I honestly feel like, too, when I buy cheaper things, I'd say it does look a little cheaper, and it's quicker to ruin, it'll get a little snag, or for some reason, if I get a stain, the stain won't come out.
Literally.
Make it make sense why it won't come out.
Because it's bad, cheap quality.
Exactly. It's cheap shit. And
crazy.
you're really just wasting your money, actually.
It is. And honestly, I'm so annoyed. Why can't you find 100% cotton? Why is it so hard to find it? I don't want
Actually.
polyester. I don't want that
or
fucking
that nylon
literally
cheap shit.
I just want something that feels good.
Right.
You
and
know?
that's breathable, because
Literally.
those other materials
They're
don't
not.
breathe. And I don't know about other people, but it makes me smell weird.
Yeah, I mean,
It just doesn't go with my body.
It's bad for me. It's bad for the earth. It's
Right.
bad for
It's just
everybody.
bad.
Oh my God, dude. I feel like I'm late on this, but I wanted to talk about it because we love to talk about the world ending and how it's very much possible and what the fuck is happening.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw, but did you see that the lightning strike the Christ statue in Brazil, right at it?
No.
Yeah, this is a week and a half ago, right at it.
Oh my gosh.
And tell me, I don't know why, I was like, is this an omen? What are the chances
Yeah.
of it? The video was
Striking.
insane. It was insane. And I don't know. I feel like it was scary.
Yeah, that sounds scary, and I don't like it, because we kind of said in the last episode, all this weird shit has been happening in the world. And we talked about, the UFOs that they found and shot down. Did you hear that they didn't find them after they've been shot down? It's okay, you shot them down, but you went to retrieve it and you can't find it?
I mean, I'm not surprised. The UFOs come from different dimensions.
Right. You may have shot it down, but then they got it out of there.
No, literally. You think they're going to be like, oh no, I'm injured. Help me. I've fallen. You know what I
Right,
mean?
they're not going to stay around.
I'm pretty sure they're just going to buzz and they're out of here.
Right. They got a homie.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't like that.
I honestly, wish I could go back. I want to go to another dimension with them. Like, I really do. I want to see what Sarah's doing in another dimension. What choice did you make that made you live in that dimension?
Yeah.
I just want to see how she's living.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
How's she doing? Is she doing better than me or worse?
Want to switch someday?
Yeah, literally. I'm like, And what if the aliens in the other dimension are like kicking it with the humans? You know, you never know.
It's true. Maybe they live in peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm. Or it's pure chaos.
Right.
And that's why they're here.
Exactly. Honestly, this alien conversation reminds me of that show you were watching and got me to watch like a year or two ago when people, they were like abducted. Yeah, it was great because they just talked about their experiences of actually being abducted by aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because, you know, there are trends, you know, within what they're saying. So it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
I believe this, you know?
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Because there's good aliens and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't live in the middle of nowhere if you don't want to get abducted. Because that's where they go.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, imagine an alien, like, in the middle of the fucking city in downtown.
Oh
I'd
my
literally be
God.
like, shut the fuck up.
Right, be like, get the fuck out of
Get
here.
the fuck out. Look at this fucking
Look
bitch.
at this alien thinking they gonna take me.
You slimy.
City
The little
people.
crackheads.
Right.
Oh my God. I just imagine, like, a
so
little
funny.
crackhead, like, hiding himself under their spaceship. Like, take me where you're going.
Take me to your dealer.
Okay, so apparently, I am not watching the new season of The Bachelor because I think he's boring and I don't care about that white man.
Tell him you don't care.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good shows and you didn't make the cut.
Right. And this is relevant because Sarah loves The Bachelor.
Exactly.
She normally watches The Bachelor
I
and The
do.
Bachelorette.
I tap in when it's someone that, you know, I feel like connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no collection. I have no connection
connection.
with that white man. Anyway, I saw that apparently he got COVID in the middle of the season.
Oh.
And now they have to do like virtual happy hours.
Wait, what?
They have to go on like Zoom dates and shit because like the season has to go on, but he has fucking COVID. And how wild is it that like it's year 2023, pandemic started like 3 years ago, and like that's the first time where like something like that happened.
Right.
And I just think it's insane.
That's actually, very crazy because it didn't happen before, and they had Bachelor and Bachelorette seasons
They got
during
tested,
COVID.
yeah. And he just got it, and that's just fucking crazy. Like, I would be
so
pissed.
weird.
I would hate to fucking date virtually on the show. Like, that's so dumb.
Oh no, that
Right?
would not sit right with me. I would need them to extend the like season or time because I would need more in person.
Cause like, okay, so how is the like you know the group one's gonna happen?
Right.
Like they're gonna be like, so
I
Zach,
don't understand.
no Zach, I was talking, no Zach,
Right, there's just like 50 women all in one room.
Zach. Like that's insane.
I
would definitely side call him. Like, hey, you want to hop on a private chat?
That's
just
just
insane,
so weird. I actually feel like I need to watch an episode now just
Right,
to
just
see
to
how
laugh.
just to see how they do it.
That's insane, and like I have to know what the transits were when that happened. You know,
Yes.
I want to know what the fuck was going on.
Yes.
You know?
100%. Also, I feel like it's kind of funny but also interesting because, you know, a lot of people do have to date like or they have a partner who lives across the world or something like
Yeah.
that, right? So a lot of people do like date on Zoom.
No, they do. And I mean, even with the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise or even other dating shows, like after it wraps, you're not always going to move in together right away. Like
Right.
a lot of times those relationships end prematurely because they can't make it work long distance and there wasn't enough effort on both sides or one
Right.
side. So, I mean, maybe I guess it's interesting because they'll get to see. It's just so awkward, though.
It is.
I mean, I think about, like, Zoom meetings, and they're awkward within themselves because, like, oh, sorry, you go first. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Yeah.
like, a lot of, like, weird shit.
Yeah.
And, like, dating is kind of similar, but at least they've already met in person.
Yeah.
Which I feel like makes it a little bit better.
Totally.
But still so weird. I'm like,
Super
what the
weird.
fuck? What do you guys think about that? Like, I would be so annoyed. Like, you get on The Bachelor, and the one season you get on, he gets a fucking, like, no.
Straight up. And then I still just have to be in the house with all of the women.
Oh,
you know what
God.
I mean? Like, and I don't even get a little bit of, like, male relief and, like, attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Literally.
It's just, like, that's, like, a lot of women in one house.
Oh.
And I love women, you know? Like, I love them. I love us. But all of us in one house like that, that's a lot of estrogen.
I mean, even besides this COVID thing, they're in a house together every season. And I understand why they fight and drive each other crazy. Like, you're in direct competition with people you're living with. Oh, no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I just feel like the added factor of not physically being able to see him, you know? I don't know why. I just think that, like, adds more tension to them, possibly.
Honestly.
Yeah. Oof. No.
Good
Couldn't
luck
be
to
me.
them.
Good luck.
Yeah. My heart's with you.
Speaking of other shows, I saw this new show on Hulu. It's called Extraordinary. And it is so funny, you guys. Like, I 10 out of 10 recommend. I haven't finished the season. I watched maybe like 3 episodes. And it's about people who have superpowers. And the main girl, she doesn't have a superpower, so she's extraordinary. Or we don't know if she has a superpower yet. I'm only 3 episodes in. But it's really freaking funny. I don't want to give too much away because each character is very unique. And I will say that the way that it's kind of shot gives me like a little bit of like Napoleon Dynamite vibes. Like that kind of comedy. Mm-hmm. So
awkward funny.
Yes, awkward funny, like staring at each other for a while. It's a British show, and they say British people are like awkward. I don't know, but it's really good. I seriously recommend all of y'all to watch it. There's a little bit of superhero fantasy, love. It's just so good.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get started.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a show rec too. I have been obsessed with this show. Me and my boyfriend started the show Dark on Netflix. There's 3 seasons out. It's German, but the dubbed version is like, it's actually pretty good. Like the voiceover is really good, which I'm very picky about because if the voices don't match, I stop watching.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. So it's so good. If you're into any sort of like time travel, dimension hopping, sci-fi mystery, this is the show for you. And I've watched a lot of time travel shows. And this is one of the best ones. The way they did it, like, you just can't help but be actively mind-fucked every episode. And I'm just like, I want to figure it all out. And they just keep giving you all these little tidbits where you're like, wait, I think I get it. And then they just mix it up again. You're like, wait a minute. It's so good. If you like anything that's going to make your mind work, that's the show for you.
Yes.
And it's I just love time travel and dimension hopping.
Yeah.
That's like my shit.
Same. I'm definitely going to watch. Where is it at again?
It's on Netflix.
Okay, Netflix. Because I feel like I am very like media savvy, you know, so I can predict what's going to happen, right? So you saying like, oh, it's twisting and turning, it gives you just little tidbits, like I'm very excited about that.
No, it's so good. Yes.
All right, y'all, so let's do some more fun astrology things.
Do it.
Do it. So we found another list, and it is titled The Questions I Have for the Signs. So let's start with Aries.
Yeah, let's do it.
And the question we have for Aries is, how is it so easy for you to make friends?
It's so true, honestly.
So true. I feel like Aries are incredibly friendly, and they're the initiators. You know what I mean? They have no problem coming up to you first and being like, hey, how's it going? I need this, or whatever it is. Like, they don't have the issue coming up to you first, which I feel a lot of other signs do.
They do.
They don't know how to extend the olive branch.
They don't.
You know?
I feel like Aries is so aggressive in their pursuit of friendship. And who is not going to make friends while doing that? People, truly, you think when you're in a romantic situation, you want to be pursued. It is so fucking cool when someone wants to be your friend and is not afraid of showing it.
Right.
Especially in Aries. You know what I mean? Because, like, you want an Aries as your friend. They'll protect you. They'll ride for you. You see the way they fight. You want them on your side.
100%.
So I feel like there is just something magnetic about Aries placements and how easy it is for them to make friends. And I think it's because of the way they're so aggressive about it.
Yeah.
I personally like it. Maybe it's because I'm Mars ruled too, but I think it's dope. And I think that's why they have such an easy time doing it.
Yes, and they're riders, you know what I mean? They want to show up for you. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's another thing too. You know, like you have to show up for your friends to make them actually be your friends,
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like Aries are always down last minute to come show up to whatever event or go out to dinner with you.
So true.
And I feel like that's also why it's easier for them because they're willing to drop things to go hang out with you or have a good time.
They're loyal and they show up. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would've thunk
Come
it?
on. You want friends? Be loyal and show up for people.
Right.
Okay, next we have Taurus. And the question I have for you is, why do you isolate yourself? I think they isolate themselves because, here I am answering for Taurus.
Yeah.
I think they isolate themselves because they take pleasure in their own company. They don't need you. They don't need to be outside. If like they've created this very safe and comfortable space for themselves, they don't feel the need to be around other people. Like a lot of people would do well to learn to love their own company.
100%.
And Taurus has mastered that.
Mm-hmm.
They have literally created the most beautiful space to call their own.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want to kick it there? You literally personalized it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And they take the time to make their home comfortable.
Yes, no, I totally agree. I feel like, though, sometimes, you know, when Taurians are, some of them do feel fulfilled enough where it's like, yes, I'm happily isolating, but I feel like sometimes they just don't want to put themselves out there when they're like isolating, and it's keeping them from getting new experiences, you know? Like, I feel like sometimes it's just like a fear for them of change sometimes, or like a fear of what's going to happen and it's out of their control, because Taurians are control freaks in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also why it's like they want to be able to control what's going on in their space and around them at all times. So it's like, if I can't, I'm gonna just isolate myself and do me on my own. And I am happy here. Like like you said, I've created this beautiful home. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Okay, Gemini, the question we have for you. Will you ever stop searching for a new adventure?
Oh my God, no. And
No.
why
And why
should
would they?
Curiosity didn't kill the cat. It made the cat stronger.
Right, it made it smarter.
It made it funner.
More agile.
Yeah, no, I feel like Gemini really is never, ever, I mean, they will die. Is that what you want? Do you want Gemini to die?
Right.
Because they're going to go on another adventure, and they're going to experience new things in this life every day, because that's what fulfills them. It's what makes their mind feel fulfilled.
Straight up.
And if you were to ever stop them or ask them why they're doing that, they're probably going to leave you.
Yeah. It's like, why do you hate the Gemini? You know,
Yeah.
is my question. Like, you're actually keeping them from learning new things, experiencing new things, and that's all Gemini wants. You know, we always say they're such a cerebral person. It's because they're processing all of this information, and they like it that way.
They do.
You know, like, they will actually go crazy if they have to sit there for too long.
They want to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and unless you are put in a new environment and around other people, new people, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to learn.
Right.
You know, like, that's just what makes Gemini feel alive. Everyone has their thing. You know, what makes you feel alive? For Gemini, it's going on adventures and experiencing new aspects of this life.
Right.
Things that they haven't figured out yet.
Right.
With people they haven't met yet.
Right. And it helps them grow, and it makes them good teachers as well, too. You know what I mean? Like, everyone needs a Gemini friend who does go on all of these adventures so they can come back and tell you about it.
Yeah.
You know? They're great storytellers, and I feel like they have to be the ones, like, to me, they're kind of like trailblazers. They have to be the ones going on adventures because, again, they're such great storytellers, and they'll inspire other people to do the same.
Yeah. Absolutely. Next, we have Cancer. And the question that I have for them is, why are you so hard on yourself?
Yes. I feel like they are really hard on themselves. And I can only think, like, okay, so their sister sign is Capricorn, and Capricorns are also very hard on themselves. And I don't know, maybe it's because of the emotions that they feel, or they feel pressure from their family and their friends to be those providers, to be that emotional support.
Yeah.
And I feel like when they, also maybe because they're cardinal, like when they aren't reaching the goals that they want, they will be hard on themselves.
Yeah.
Because they are initiators too.
I think for me, when I saw this question, it made me think about the fact that Cancer is the most traditional sign in the zodiac. They want to provide safety for themselves. They want to have a good job, and then they want to find a home, and they want to build a family in that home, and they want to hit those benchmarks. Most Cancers that I know, in their own way, even though it's not like always maybe the traditional way, but they still want to do those things, whatever it may be for them. And I think they're hard on themselves when they don't do it fast enough.
Yeah.
And they're always on this timeline of like, well, if I do this, I'll feel safe. If I do this, I'll finally have the thing that makes me happy and safe in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And they're always looking at other people reaching those milestones, and they're thinking that they're not doing it fast enough, and their emotions kind of take over.
Yeah.
You know, they're that cardinal water, so they're leading with their emotions, and I feel like sometimes that's why they blow up. They're like overwhelmed by the fact that they're not in that safe place yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're doing your best. You know what I mean?
And like, sometimes you have to be okay with the fact that you're not secure. You know what I mean? It's the same idea of like, you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay that you're not there yet, but don't be so hard on yourself because you're taking the steps to get there. And everyone's going to get there in their own time. But you're so right. I think it is their traditional mindset that puts more pressure on them than necessary.
Well, they look at their family, and I feel like Cancer, their family is someone that they look up to a lot, whatever their definition of family is. And when they think about their future, they want to duplicate that. You know, they're like, I want that for me when I grow up. And it's like, you'll get there. And I think it's so hard for them because they just imagine themselves being there and how much better life will be when they're there. And it's too much for anyone, not just a Cancer. It's too much. You just kind of need to let life happen and do the best that you can in this given moment.
Yeah.
But Cancer very much lives in the future, like Capricorn.
And then, of course, you're going to burst at some point because you're putting too much pressure on yourself. And then you got to explode like a volcano.
Literally,
You know?
literally. Okay, so did you see that Penn Badgley? I feel like we maybe talked about this. He talked about how he said for like season 4, like he didn't want to do any like sexual scenes and things like that, and how he's like setting the boundary essentially because he, respects his relationship and he doesn't want to be put in that situation. And if the people don't know, Penn Badgley is a Scorpio stellium.
Duh.
And I thought that was so beautiful. And it goes to show that if someone that is literally an actor, who their literal job is playing pretend, is choosing to set that boundary, you motherfuckers in a work setting with your work wives and your work husbands can shut the fuck up and fucking set them boundaries. How about that? So shut the fuck up.
Oh my gosh.
So it brings back to the point of if they wanted to, they would. And if they don't respect you, they'll cross any boundary.
1,000%.
It's not about the situation. It's not about, well, we're at work most of the time. You just need to feel that way. What are you talking about? Then go date your coworker.
Right.
They're there.
Oh my God.
Tell your person you don't want to be with them no more.
Right. Oh my gosh. This weird little fantasy that you're trying to like live
your
and have
little
the
double
best
life.
of both worlds.
Shut the fuck up.
No, you don't get that. I just thought when he said that, it
Hot.
was such big dick energy.
Such
like,
big dick energy.
Wow. Because I think, and it was something, it kind of threw me because I never think about actors and actresses necessarily like having this option, because no one has ever spoken out at least in my lifetime saying, hey, I'm not comfortable with this because it would disrespect my relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like that is so beautiful. And again, something that I never thought these celebrities really had the option to do.
It just goes to show if you love your person enough and respect your relationship enough, no matter what, you're willing to set any boundary.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, people just need to get better at boundary setting.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as someone is too nice to me, I'm like, just so you know, I have a boyfriend. I told this to Maya. And then sometimes I'm like, did I do too much? And I'm like, no, because I felt the vibe and I needed to let them know I have a boyfriend.
Exactly.
Because I love and respect my man so much and our relationship so much. And I know he would do the same. It's just, I could never even imagine not doing that.
Right.
And I know not everyone feels that way, but I don't see it any other way. because some people assume things, and I would love to bring some clarity to you.
Right.
And let you know, don't be assuming shit.
Right.
Because people can't say anything if you're direct.
It's true.
And I feel like people need
on.
to get better at being direct. They do.
100%.
You're not going to get what you don't ask for.
It will never come. Closed mouths don't get fed, as my mama always liked to say.
And she is absolutely correct.
The other thing that I want to say about this whole situation is, like, I'm excited about it because I feel like, especially in You, like, there doesn't really need to be sex scenes, you know? And I feel like in a lot of our media, there is a lot of, like, sexual things that happen, whether it be sex, whether it be like flirting or like insinuating something in that way. And I just feel like not everything has to surround around sex and like love to make it interesting in a TV plot or a movie plot.
Absolutely. You had a lot of sex scene because it's all about relationships and it shows their bonds with each other. So I think that's why there was actually a lot of sex scenes the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Because it shows their intimacy with each other and how he could literally be fully involved and in love with someone and still feel the need to like kill everyone else that they love, you know? So I think it's crazy that he's actually choosing not to do it because how many sex scenes were in all 3 seasons prior to this one. It's a big step.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. I mean, I just feel like, to me, when I think of the show and the fact that he's like a killer, like, I don't necessarily need to see someone having sex when it's like a killer show. You know, that's what I meant by it.
And I think that's why it's so different.
Yeah,
is because
for
he's
sure.
showing you someone that you love, and people, there's serial killers that you probably know. And you don't know that they're serial killers.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the magic of this show is. And a lot of people are fucking loving Joe, and Penn Badgley himself is saying, "What's wrong with you? This is a murderer."
Right.
But that's the magic of this show, is that it's showing all of it. It's not just showing. There's so many shows about killers. This is a show about you seeing the intimate parts of a killer's life.
Yeah,
which is so wild.
It makes you kind of love the killer, which is
exactly
like a very dark, weird thing to kind of look at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the magic of the show, is that it's so odd, the connection you feel to this guy. Who's clearly a murderer.
He's a bad guy.
But then it also showed his, his trauma from his past, like what he went through as a child. Not to say because you witnessed something as a child, you should be a murderer now, but it taps into so many emotions.
Totally.
Yeah.
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 It's a great show.
Yeah.
And again, I'm very proud of him for speaking up in that way. And it will be interesting. I mean, I feel like the next season is going to have just as much viewership because of like this talk. Yeah. But I'll be interested to see like how much more it like, even the story even really continues. You know?
Yeah, the season's already out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The one where it wasn't as much sex in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's already out.
So that was season 4 that.
So there's two parts. There's season 4, part 1, which is already out, and then there's the part 2 that's coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's wild because a lot of people actually don't like this season. I feel like the rich people in it were really annoying. That's what really bugged me about it.
Yeah.
But another thing that I do love about Penn Badgley is because of how much he speaks out about the toxicity of people loving Joe. And also he talked about, even besides Joe, it's a fictional show, how much people loved all those serial killer documentaries and how they become obsessed and like kind of romanticize, like, oh, he was kind of hot, like, you know what I mean, like Jeffrey Dahmer, or like the other people, like that guy from the 80s, whatever he was, like, he actually like goes on social media and he's like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, this, as a society, we need help. And I love him for doing that.
100%. Because yes, media is powerful in the sense that it will make us love Penn Badgley and Joe, right?
Yeah.
But that's not actually who we should be loving, you guys. You know what I mean? Like, we have to have the wherewithal to not actually romanticize this type of behavior.
Yeah.
Because that's also how people stay in toxic relationships and stuff.
It's so true.
Like, that's not okay.
And, like, I think that's why it's important to watch shit and, like, take yourself out of it. Or notice, there's people that seemingly seem really good, and people have sex with people that are toxic and they don't even know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when we talked about sex, that's what I meant, is that, like, you can really be into it with someone. You think you know everything about them because you're having sex with them.
Yeah.
But they have all these secrets and they're doing all this crazy shit. You know? And it's wild.
Yeah.
You don't really know people.
You don't.
And that's what I want people to learn from serial killer documentaries and shows like you.
Yeah.
They're normal. Be careful who you invite to your personal life.
Yes.
Be aware of the red flags.
Yes. Jeez.
Scary, scary stuff.
Very scary.
But they're out there.
They are.
Just because it's ugly.
It's
Not
a
just about
reality.
serial killers, everything in life. There's ugly things happening, and we need to have the courage to see it so we could change it.
Right.
Just because it's ugly and it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not there. And we need to help the people, the victims, human trafficking, like all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, because it's real and it's happening. And because
Yeah.
it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not.
Right. Not watching it, not tuning in doesn't make it go away.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for kicking it with us this Saturday.
Yes, we love you so much.
We love you so much. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you're listening or watching, don't forget to leave us a review on Apple, Spotify. If you're watching, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends.
We're going to link our socials somewhere around here. YouTube videos usually go live every Monday and Thursday and Friday for our podcast. There will be a video on Monday, but there won't be one on Thursday, and then the pod will go live next Friday. Okay?
We love y'all so
Love you.
much. Bye.
Bye.